Good morning, everybody. My name is Max. My little dog's name is Jackson. He's over there. It's time for the pre-market Diversified Divas report. The Diversified Divas are what I call ULTI, ULTY, Blox, and K-Yield. I think they're I think they're the best. Well, hello there, Jackson. How are you doing? Well, Jackson, what a nice surprise. Jackson, I have to get my show done, okay? I have to get my show done, okay? Okay, Jackson. Good boy, Jackson. Let me get my show done, okay? Go play. All right, Diversified Divas, pre-market report. Let's share the screen. It's a nice surprise to get to talk to Jackson. All right, pre-market trading. It's about 10 minutes before the market opens. Bitcoin, I should say, is at 92, down a little bit from its peak at 94. Let's see how SPY's going to open. What the heck? What the heck? I don't know what's going on with the charts. Anyway, well, it looks like ES is up about a quarter point over here. Anyway, that's all right. Well, whatever. All right, here's the Diversified Divas. Now, good news, bad news. We have new trades for all of them except freaking ULTI from Rex has not posted new trades. Their trades from the day before yesterday are still up. I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning trying to work on this, but a couple of the trades weren't uploaded at 1 o'clock in the morning. But I got up this morning and I tried to do the rest, but Blox or ULTI still isn't here. Now, the good news is ULTI updates their trades on time. They dropped in assets 1.4%. They're at 1.31 right now. They added Iron, JBL, and Micron. Here's JBL. It's JBL Inc. Electronics Components. It's up 46% year to date. Anyway, they added Iron. Let's check out Iron. And they also added Micron, of course, a chip company. But let's look at this chart of Iron. Of course, that's one of the best growth stocks of the year, one of the biggest growth stocks of the year, up 340% year to date, 2,000% in the past 3 years. And, of course, Micron, MU. Micron announced his exit from his crucial consumer business to prioritize data center AI demand with consumer shipments winding down in February. So they're going in the data center business. Okay. So those are the 3 new stocks. Now, let's check out the position. So ULTY, so here's what they did in JBill. Here's the profit and loss graph at expiration. It's a 3-leg collar, sold a call, sold a put, plus they own shares. In this case, they own a lot of shares. What is that, 101.6 million? And they sold the 230, sold the 220, bought the 180 twice as many times as how many shares they had. That caps their loss, defines their loss at about, they can't lose more than 16% on this position at expiration. And this is only about 5% of their portfolio. So their total loss is 16 times 5. Total possible loss from, they can't hold the bag on this. So where's JBill? Right there. Yeah, and it's about 5%. Most of their things are about 5%. Some are 4. SoFi and Twilio are about 3. Micron's about 3%, 2.96 to be exact. Let's look at the Micron trade. I have it in here as well. That's the J-bill trade. We'll see how that one does. The Micron trade is a standard. This is a standard 2-leg collar. Now they do this on the ETFs with more, the stocks with higher IV. This stock has a 64 IV by itself. So selling options on this, should raise around 64%. The last one on J-bill, the volatility was lower. I just forgot to look at it. But I predicted the payment would go down to 60%, and so far I've been wrong. It's at 75%, 76%. I was wrong, but I thought when they put in these more stable stocks, see, this only yields 52%, but they're doubling up on it. They've sold the call and sold the put, so they're getting 52% twice, but they're having to buy twice as many puts, so that offsets it somewhat. I'm surprised they aren't paying less, but for right now, they're still paying more, but that's the way they squeeze the extra premium out of these lower vol stocks. And not to mention this selling the put also helps offset the put drag from the puts you buy, the amount the put bleeds on the portfolio. Now let's go look at the last trade, and then we'll check the market. It's getting ready to open. Micron, let's see, Micron, JBL, and Iron. Iron's the last one. Iron's a standard 2-leg collar. Sell a call, buy a put. Own stock, sell a call, buy a put. Iron has enough volatility. They don't feel like they need the third leg. This thing's yielding 112. They sold this 9,000 times. So this thing should generate plenty of premium. They don't have any loss potential below. It looks like they're putting their puts about 20% out of the money. If they have 5% of their portfolio in something at most, and the puts 20% out of the money, 20% times 5% is 1%. The most any individual trade can cost their NAV is 1%. It looks maybe like that's how they're doing it. When I check how far out of the money, lots of times they're 16, 20, something like that, 16, 18, 20% out of the money. This one's no exception. So we'll see how those all do. Now let's go look pre-market, or really, well, we can't really look. Let's just see what we have here. We'll just look down here at I don't know why the charting package isn't working, but gosh darn it. All right. Well, sorry about that. It's 8:29. The market's going to open here in a second. Maybe reload this darn thing. Thanks for being here this morning. I'm sorry ULTY did not load. Come on, Rex, get your act together. They're always the latest one to load, but usually if I wake up at, get up and check, it'll be up by 7:30 in the morning. But no, I've been checking it all night, and this morning I got up. It's the same one they've had 2 days ago. And maybe they don't have new trades, but still most companies upload a new sheet even if they don't have new trades, and there's a new balance because the trades close at a different price. You don't have to have new trades to have the sheet, but maybe these guys are, I don't know. And I'm not blaming Rex. There's somebody called the Custodian does this stuff for them, but their Custodian, and also probably the market maker and the Custodian, they don't buy these on the open market. They buy these different. Sometimes they use the open market, but Jay explained to me at YieldMax, whenever they go to buy options, they buy them from the market maker and the authorized participant. And it's more of a complex. Whenever they have money coming to the fund, it's called a creation unit. And so they have, $2 million of creates come into the fund. Well, they tell the market maker what option positions they want. The market maker gives them the option positions, and the market maker gets to keep the money. It's called an in-kind transaction. It's what makes ETFs cash efficient, but there's a little bit of a different mechanism. But because of that mechanism, then they have a custodian and an unauthorized participant. Well, the custodian is the one that holds onto the stocks. They're the ones that generate these position reports and put them on the internet. So I'm not blaming Rex, but it's the relationship with their custodian, I think, could be better. All of the other funds are title funds, so they have the same custodians, and they're all up. Blox is a title fund, ULTY is a title fund, and this other one's a title fund. Anyway, okay, so it looks like Blox is going to open down 1.3%. Unfortunately, that sucks. I hate to see that. Let's look at ULTY, even though I'm saying bad stuff about their custodian. Let's see if their trading's going better. It looks like they're going to open up 41 basis points. We'll take that ULTY. Let's look at ULTY, see if it can continue its good streak. Looks like it's opening down a quarter point. And let's look at K-Yield from Curve. Or I'm trying to think. I don't think K-Yield has the same, because K-Yield doesn't use title. But anyway, two of these companies use title, Blox and ULTY. So have the same custodian. In any event, K-Yield's up a little bit. Let's go back to the Divas. Let's see why Blox was down. We didn't really look at Blox's positions. They were the same as yesterday. All the positions stayed the same except for ULTY. Well, except for Rex, we don't know. And ULTY that added Iron, Micron, and JBL. All right, there's ULTY. There's their option positions. They were, as of yesterday, they're totally unhedged. No downside protection on any of their positions. They didn't collarize anything. Last week they had stuff collarized. More like a ULTY trade is collarized. All right, so here's Curve. Everything's showing zero right there. Where is Blox? All right, so Blox opened down. It's too early in the morning, and these don't update until 15 minutes after, but something in Blox's universe is down. Probably just Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down a little bit. I mean, Bitcoin's down 1%, so that's going to darn sure put the hurt to Blox. Blox is pretty much just directly Bitcoin. I mean, they either have direct Bitcoin or they have Bitcoin surrogates, miners and stuff like that. So Blox gets hurt worse by Bitcoin, but the rest of them have Bitcoin exposure also. All right, so we'll see how it goes. I'll keep checking for ULTI's trades, and I'll still add them to the Divas, and maybe by this afternoon we'll know what they had. Anyway, hopefully they can get their act together. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. We'll keep an eye on those ULTY trades and see how they're going. We can look at this early point. I think this updates now. It's still updating behind. But we can look here. ULTY still has on this Southern Copper trade. It's up 700,000. ULTI has on this trade. ADI, it's worth 1.3 million. ULTY has on a GLD trade. It's worth 570,000. Actually, though, let's go to the Divas. I think was GLD one of the ones that came off of ULTY. ULTI. They added Iron, JBL, Micron. They ditched American Express, the Qs, Teradyne, and TMF. All right, so we don't have any of the ones up that they. Yeah, we do. This Teradyne trade, they made 700 per contract. They're out of that, and you can see why. They're over their max. They're over the max profit at expiration. Remember, these guys didn't hold it till expiration. They got rid of it yesterday. The max profit right now looks about like this, but they're close to max profit. They had on many. Come on, what in the hell? They had on many shares. I just put I just did it for one share, but they made $700 per share anyway, or per contract. They probably had this on several thousand times. Anyway, they took that one off. So that's a nice profit. It's part of the reason they had a big profit yesterday. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later.